Well, hi everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal, and welcome to the show. Today we are going to be continuing on a subject we were doing earlier today, which is about layering. How sometimes we have one thing layer on top of another, layer on top of another, and then that throws our life out of balance completely. Hi, Jamie. Good to see you. Um, so what I wanted to first of all explain for those of you who are watching the broadcast, maybe for the first time, is how we do the broadcast. Just at the front end of the broadcast, hi, Jonas. I'll obviously be saying hi to everybody and catching up on people's news and birthdays and things like that. Hi, Gabriella. And then what I will do is after we've done that side of it, then we'll get on to the topic. And so for those of you watching on the replay, hi there, Jody. For those of you watching on the replay, you're going to see from 00 to a certain time, news, views, and updates. And then that certain time, whatever it is that we end up doing to the end will be the topic. So if you only want to see the topic or watch the topic side of it, just go to the second number. However, for those of you who like to be kept up to date what's going on, I will try. And remember, I do know that today is Lazy Day. Is that right, Jody? National Be Lazy Day. I have not been that lazy. Excuse me. Jonas is saying that he just got back from Seattle and glad he went, but emotionally and physically exhausted. Okay, what were you up to? If you can share that. Yes, it's not only Lazy Day, but it's also National S'mores Day. For those of you who haven't had your s'mores this summer, just know that it was officially the day today. So if you need to go out tomorrow and celebrate it. So for those of you who don't know what s'mores are, that's a graham cracker, chocolate, and marshmallow. Actually, not just any marshmallow, but a heated marshmallow, a toasted marshmallow. Hi, Nana. Good to see you. And Nana, thank you for the heads up that I had got distracted away from taking the chat out of the broadcast earlier today. I really appreciate it when you notice that. Thank you so much. This is teamwork, and I really appreciate those of you who look after me. I went in to do it, Nana, and I must have seen something that distracted me because I know I went in to do that, but I didn't do it. So thank you so much. I really appreciate the support on that. All right. So for those of you who don't know, the boxes on the side are here for a good reason. I am still downsizing, and now I'm getting into the critical stuff. It's going to be very difficult now because what I'm doing from this point onwards is I am numbering the boxes. For example, anything I'm packing now, I'm calling number 2 because it must be fairly important because it was still in my house. But the final boxes will be numbers 1 and then 0 will be, this is critical to my life. Does that make sense? Oh, not a problem, Clea. And just know to catch up on the replay later whenever you get a chance. So no problem at all. But good to see you. Thank you. And so that's how I'm labeling stuff. The stuff that's already in the garage, apparently I can really live without. The stuff that's still up here in boxes, I know are fairly important to me. But now I'm getting down to, this is how important is this? This is level 2 important. And then the final ones will be, this is critical. Well, actually, then they will do number 1. And then the very last ones to be packed will be, this is essential to my life. You're still moving this well, Nada. So that's great to see you. You missed, I don't know if you missed it, but if you get a chance to see the, what do you call it? The broadcast at lunchtime about layering, you'll probably enjoy that, Nada, from what I know about you. All right. So Nana's asking, did I find a place? Yes, I still am. I'm about to go and do the final deal on the big fifth wheel. Yep. Hi, Sharon. Good to see you. All right. So I put up some birthdays for this week. I know it's Bill's birthday. No. Yeah, I think it was. No, it's Baba's birthday today. That's right. Sound's gone. Sound has gone. Okay. For Nana, the sound is gone. Has it gone for anybody else? Can somebody let me know if they can still hear me? Okay, so let's tell her to refresh. Okay, so so where are we at? All right, so we've got that going on birthday-wise. And by the way, if ever you want to see whose birthday it is this week, go to DearMamaSal.com. And if you scroll down the right-hand side, there's a calendar there, and it'll tell you the upcoming birthdays, sort of within the next week or so. And if you want to see everybody's birthday that I know about for the month, there's a little thing at the bottom that says whole calendar or something, or just, and you click on there, it'll show you the whole month of August. Make sense? By the way, my birthday month as well. Very important month. All right, so we've got that done. Let me just make sure that we got everything else covered here. Okay, so Jonas is saying he went for a family reunion. Glad he went, because I got to meet really good friends. To make really good friends with his cousin. Oh, that's great. Wow. And I've got permission to repeat this. He actually typed that I could repeat it. But he said, however, on my last day, my uncle projected onto me, and I cried in the Starbucks washroom for an hour. The situation essentially escalated, and I've had a huge emotional breakdown. Okay, so what did he project onto you? For those of you who don't know what projection is, that is when somebody has stuff going on and they project it onto you. They blame you for it. So let's hear what got projected. By the way, we all do it. Or most of us do it anyway, without realizing it. The fact that Jonas can actually identify it is good, but it obviously triggered him. And yeah, it's interesting because I had the reverse of that in some ways this week. For you to have been that upset about it, it must have been a major trigger for you. So do you know what the trigger was? We'll wait for him to type that out. Yeah, it's very difficult. But I always think, Jonas, that you have to be very grateful for the fact that you now know that's what it is. You know that it's a projection, and you know that it's a trigger. So, that shows a great deal of learning about yourself. Not many people can do that. Hi, Erin. Glad you're here. I'm about to start your story. But are we just trying to find out, first of all, what's going on with Jonas here? If you can, Jonas, I'm sending you a big hug here, honey. But if you can, just let us know what did he project, and what was the emotion that it triggered? Okay, while we're waiting for that, I had a similar one. For those of you who know me well, I have two big triggers in my life. One is abandonment, and the other is betrayal. Those two. Now, it doesn't have to be that I actually was abandoned or that I actually was betrayed. So you understand, those triggers don't have to be. It is if I perceive that I have been. Do any of you relate to that? If I perceive that there is some level of abandonment in here, or there's some level of possible betrayal in this, I start to get triggered. Now, it depends how much of it I see as to how triggered I get. So I had it happen last week. And what happened to me was I was actually out with my friends who are also my realtors, looking at Cedar Cottage, as I call it. And they had said, yes, the tape starts to play. That's right, Jody. That's good that you know that. All right. So what happened was everything was going well. I was held up, first of all, which was a God thing, I now think. In other words, what happened was they got there before me and they went in alone before me. So at some level, that upset me because I know they get very upset if I go in ahead of them to see a property. So, I sort of went, that's interesting. They get really upset when I go ahead of them. So why did they go ahead of me? And the other thing was that they seemed to be far more interested in the owner than they were in the reasons that I needed them there, because they came as my friends and they made a point of saying that, we will come as your friends, not as your realtors. So I said, okay, fine. That's what I want. I want my friends to look at this and see with what they know of me, will I go insane in this space? Will it be far too small? Anyway, so the interesting thing was I noticed that I needed to get some opinion on something, and I had to literally drag my friend away from the owner to go into the bathroom to have a private conversation. And that I was a bit worried about that. And then when we were outside, we were in the sort of lane where this unit is. And it was really interesting because you could tell who lived there and who didn't. The people who lived there, as they came driving along, waved. And the ones that were visiting were frustrated because there were people in the road. You know what I mean? I can't get to where I need to go to. Whereas the people who lived there all just, go, hi, George, and they just stepped away and let George go by. So I thought that was an interesting read on the place itself. And then what happened was one of the neighbors happened to mention, hi, Amy, happened to mention that they were possibly moving. And I want to tell you, my friends immediately changed gears. They saw a possible seller in their life. And from that point onwards, they concentrated on the seller. And that hurt me. No, I was hurt when they did that. So you understand, there was the one thing that happened inside the trailer, and now this is another layer on top of it. And the second layer, I went, wow. And then they handed over a business card. Another layer. You know what I mean? And it was amazing. And then we were walking away from looking at the unit, and I then found out that she had been there earlier in the week on her own. And then we were walking through the property, and she said, oh, Sal, there's another one for sale around here. Let's go and look at it. And I said, I don't need to see any others. I've seen the one I want. And she said, no, let's go and look at it. And then I realized she had a piece of paper with the units for sale, and she wanted to check them out. And she'd already been earlier in the week to check some of them out. So I don't know about you, but I suddenly had layer upon layer of triggers. And then I basically said, wow, when I was looking for this place, you didn't know that it existed, and the fact it was on land that couldn't be built on. So you let me do all that research and all that hard work, and now you are busy using it for your clients. And I don't know why, but that upsets me. Not that you're doing your job, but that I know that you didn't know about it because you didn't tell me about it. Or you did know about it and you didn't tell me about it. Either of those triggers me. Anyway, I got upset enough that I went home and I wrote an email to them. And I literally detailed out everything that had happened and how it had upset me. And what I said, I didn't say you did this to upset me, or you. I just said I was upset when I saw this happen. Do you understand? I took full responsibility, and I thanked them for the time they'd taken to come and see the place with me. And I thanked them for and other things. And I just made sure that I stayed. Hi, Andy. Andy, it's your birthday next week, I think. And I stayed responsible for my stuff. Very important. So very difficult to do, but yes, I totally relate, Jonas, that when you get triggered like that, it can take hours to get back under control. Okay, here we go. Jonas said, felt it was more than a projection. I felt attacked and bullied. We went to buy a gift for my mom, and then he said I could pay him back. And I did, and he criticized the way I paid him. And he started attacking the way my parents raised me and mocking how I interact with people. It was clear that this was not a lesson, but rather an opportunity to put me down. Wow, no wonder you were upset. So when I went to the washroom to take time for myself and release my emotions, I got back. He started telling me on the street and said he was upset. He then tried to justify what he had just done. Yes, I totally relate to that one. All right, so Nana's saying, what would I have preferred them do? Yes, that was a very good thing. I would prefer to them to keep to what they said, that they came as my friends, not as my realtors. My friends, if my friends had come to visit, in my view, they would not have been handing business cards over to people that may be selling. They would have come, looked at the unit, and then we would have discussed where I would, where they saw that what furniture I need to take, what they thought might be a problem for me. That's what I would have preferred them to do. And that was the understanding that they were coming to do. I was fairly clear on what I needed them to do. Okay, so then the guilt trip came in, Jonas. It was the guilt trip that got you, right? Yeah, and then he starts to do the guilt trip. I was trying to be your friend, and this is how you repay me. Yeah. So, do you know something, Jonas? That is understandable why you were hurt. So what did you tell him? No, actually, Nana's saying, we got two stories going on here, Jonas's and mine. Nana's saying about my story. So you would have thought that they should do what you wanted. They aren't your friends, really. Well, I actually looked at that side of it when I wrote the email, Nana, and I said to them, you are realtors, and that's your job. And you probably do it without thinking, and I understand that. I just need you to know that it hurt me a little bit, that I was hurt when I saw that behavior, because you were acting like realtors, not as just my friends coming to help me make a decision. So I didn't blame them for what they did. I just said, hey, I just need you to know the impact it had on me. That was what I was trying to do. Yes, Jonas is saying that in his case, he felt like everything that he tried to do, was turned into criticism. Yep, that happens. Yeah, so Jonas is saying that he has to think, 1,000 times before he says anything around him. He's not a safe person for you, Jonas, right? Right? That's and you're upset because you tried so hard to connect with him. I understand that totally. And I'm sure everybody in the room has got somebody in their life that they've done that with, where they tried so hard and then it turned around and bit them in the butt. And I totally understand that. And by the way, there's a reason why you got so upset. This is my thinking. I believe the reason I got triggered is because I had reason to be. Do you get what I'm saying, Jonas? I don't believe I was oversensitive. I believe the behaviors I was seeing were, at some level, an abandonment of me. In other words, they abandoned my needs and went to go and see the other person because they were a potential sale. And then they stayed in that mode. He said, "You're a little too sensitive." Well, you are. Right? And that's who you are. And, when anybody says that of me, Jonas, I have an answer to them. And I say to them, it's really interesting. When you want me to stand up in front of, 7,000 people, you are really glad that I am as sensitive as I am, because I can move an audience on a dime. I can move people from being really sad one moment to being in hysterical laughter on the next. And to do that, you have to have sensitivity. To do that, you have to be able to feel people's mood. To do that, you need that skill. And it's not too sensitive. It is, I am sensitive. To me, there is no such thing as too sensitive. It is, when you do something that upsets me, don't you dare blame me for it. So, Jonas, I need you to know that you're doing really good work. Yeah. All right. And you had reason to get upset. So, I need you to understand that this is, your feelings are okay. All right. So I'm sorry to hear that, Nana. Are you looking again? One of the things that I had to do is to see both sides, their side. I tried to think about, that they had traveled that far and that they obviously had clients that probably would like to move in as well. And, it was just like, I could see their side of it easily. But I had to get through my own stuff to do that. And that's what we're going to be talking about a little bit, because, Jonas's comment and what happened to me. And now I'm going to tell you Erin's story. So I'm going to put a time check in here for 23 minutes, Jody. And, I want to talk about, can you all see how these are layers on top of layers? Jonas, if your uncle had just had the one hit on you, you probably, when I say hit on you, I mean, hurt you a little bit. If it happened one, it would have been fine. But it was a second and a third and a fourth. And when it layered up like that, then, you got severely triggered. The tape started to play, as I say. Okay, so Nana, let me know if I can repeat that. I don't want to do that without you giving me the okay on that. Okay, I want to see if I understand this correctly, though, because you said, no, his mother is very sick. And he left on holiday, leaving me and Rick in a position to look after her without our permission. Okay, so he left the day after he got out of hospital. So you felt used. Okay, and feeling used isn't something, I think you said you felt abused, right? All right, so Nana, I'm going to ask you the same question you asked me. What is it you would have liked him to have done? To say, hey guys, I just, got my mom out of hospital, but I have to go away. Is there any way you could just keep an eye on her for the next 2 days? All right, you're saying that his job was to stay at home and look after her. That was your judgment, right? So I understand that. But that is the same as I thought that my realtors should have stayed being my friends, not turning back into realtors. Um, but I realized when I balanced it out. All right, these are all your judgments, though, Nana. All right, I totally understand where you're coming from, but Nana's saying, and he didn't have to go away. He went camping with his wife, and she's a surgeon, and they go on holiday all the time. But it was his mother, and she's 85. So you understand? Can you all understand? This is what Nana thinks should have happened, right? This should not have happened. You should not bring your mother out of hospital and then leave her on her own. Now, you do understand, Nana, that you chose to look after his mother, right? That was not put on you. You chose to do that because of how you felt about the mother. So you can't, it's like, you thought that the family shouldn't have left her. I totally understand that. How many of you can see what Nana's saying? Oh, Nana is not wrong. All right, so Nana, here's what I've learned, all right? Being right isn't the answer. All right? Letting him know is the answer. And not blaming him, saying, I felt a little abused when you brought your mother home and you left her to go on vacation and left Rick and I to look after her. Who would leave an 85-year-old? All right? That is, I understand why you're angry, Nana. Totally understand. All right, you're taking a lot on here, Nana. Nana's saying, if I told him, then he'd put her in a home. And she's saying, where does that leave you? You have to come to grips with the fact that you cannot control what he does with his mother. Right or wrong, I understand that, Nana, and you have every reason to be heartbroken because you obviously really like this person. All right, this 85-year-old who cannot even cook now. Yeah. So you have every reason to be upset. Even though he does nothing for her, Nana, you need to get really clear on the fact that you are choosing to do it, right? And I know that's frustrating for you, but you keep making the choices to do it. And you could phone family services and say that this mother is being abused. All right, she can't cook for herself, and the son is not looking after her. But yeah, she will end up in a home, which is where he's trying to get her anyway. So maybe, yeah, I totally agree with you, Nana. Nana's saying, who wouldn't do it? Yeah, I would do it too, honey. But getting angry about it isn't going to fix the problem, is what I'm trying to say. And I totally understand why you're upset. And I'm not saying you did wrong. This is not about right or wrong. This is about how do you let go of this emotion? And I think this, if you remember Linda's story, right? Linda found a dog being abused somewhere. And she, rather than get upset about it, she took on the dog. But didn't get... All right, so Nana's saying that she's not angry, she's tired of looking after the mother. Is he home now, Nana? No, you are being abused, not she. But if he's not looking after her properly, then he is abusing her. You know, you can't be both ways. If you're saying he knows we will do it, then he's abusing your friendship. That is an abuse. Yeah. And that's why you're so upset. But the truth is, you know that you would do it anyway, and that also is a bit frustrating, right? Is that's the story of your life, Nana. You're a good, kind-hearted person, and you and Rick together, you know, are very kind people. And people take advantage of that. And you like her. So the thing is this, you know, I think the difficult thing is to accept the fact that you would do it anyway. All right. You just don't like that he didn't ask you first. You know, if he'd come to you and saying, "Gosh, I don't know what to do. I've had this vacation planned for 6 months with my wife, and you know, I didn't expect my mom to be in hospital and just get out." You know, you and Rick would have said, "Hey, don't worry, we'll look after her until you get back." I know that's what you would have said. The what's hurting you is that it wasn't discussed with you, that he just presumed you would do it, right? How many of you can see the two sides of that? Ah, yeah, you know something, honey? I would ask you not to cry because I would like you to know that you are a really kind, generous person, as is Rick. And, you know, you're not going to change, Nana. You know, it's not in your DNA not to help people that need help. So I'm going to send you a big hug and say, if you can, Nana, just, you know, just go, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I would have done it anyway. If she didn't have a son, you would have done it anyway, right? But you know what really gets triggered here, Nana, at some level? You know, would your kids ever do this to you? You're right. That's where the fear is. What if I got sick and my children didn't help me? I'm amazed how many people said in my life, "Hey, Sal, don't worry. When you need help, I'll be there." And I'm amazed how many people are not in my life anymore. You know what I mean? That there's no way they're going to be there. Yes, actually, you know, Nana, I was sending you thoughts and prayers at lunchtime for your sick brother. Yeah. And I'm glad you're going to go and see him and that there's going to be a family barbecue. That's great. Yes, Jody, you know, Jody's saying the presuming part of it is what would have, you know, made her resentful. I find whenever I get resentful, and you've heard me say this before, whenever I start feeling resentful, it means I have not put down a boundary that I should have done. And that's my experience. That somebody took advantage of something because I didn't put down a boundary. And so maybe you need to say to your to the son that, you know, I need to tell you that you cannot presume that Rick and I are going to do this. And if you want us to do it, then, you know, you come and talk to us about it. And I am sure that, you know, we will probably agree. But we are not here to look after your mother. We are here for our retirement. And so I need you to be really aware of this. Yeah, and Erin, you know, I totally understand. Erin's saying, "Show me people who've said the same thing to me. You know, like when you need me, I'll be there," and they're not. All right, and you know, this is a really important part. Nana is saying that the mother tells him that she is fine. He really has no idea where she's at. Nana, I think we all do that. I've got to be quite honest. I watched my mother do that for my brother. You know, when I was with her, she'd be really sick and you know, telling me the truth and everything. And my brother would walk in and suddenly she would pretend that she was just fine. And she could keep up that pretense until he left. And as soon as he left, it was like somebody took, you know, the undid the balloon and she just went back to being incapable. And so for some reason, mothers do that more for their sons. Make sure that you're aware of that too, Nana, that you don't live the lie to your son in your life. You know, be aware of that right now. Sharon, I think we all would do the same thing. If we like that 85-year-old lady, we'd all be there looking after her, and we'd all be a bit angry right now. The mother doesn't want to be a bother to him, but she is, right? And, you know, can you see his side in some ways, which is he trying to do his best? And he's probably carrying the weight for the family. So, yes, Jodi's saying she lost quite a few friends when she became chronically ill. When they realized that I wasn't going to be getting better, they flew the coop because I couldn't do things for them anymore. Yeah, isn't that the truth, Jodi? All right, so the mother sounds to me like the son. You know, Nana's saying here that he had a nurse next door coming to see her, and that she fired them. All right, so now this is more about the mother than the son. Yeah. So, Nana, I really thank you for this. You know, it's a very good analogy. And Beth is saying that she looked after her mother-in-law for 5 years, and she literally sucked all of my energy and didn't even appreciate me at all. Yeah, Nana, I think what you're doing is, I want to tell you something, honey. It's you know, I'm between trying to help you and also trying to give you a 2x4 because I can't see this getting any better unless you get some boundaries in here. She needs to know that you cannot keep pretending that she's fine, all right, and that she does need help, and she needs to understand that. And the son is trying to help her, and she's got a choice. All right, and you know, I can remember one of my aunts phoning me and saying that her son wanted to put her into a home. And I said, you know, you get a choice. So the son lives with her? The other thing, yeah, I really think that you know, talking to the son is a really good idea. You know, they you know, it's not fair for them to expect you to look after the mother, right? This is a really well-to-do family. Yep, exactly. And you know, just say that you don't mind doing the occasional visit as a friend, but you know, you are not free help. And if he's going to go away, he needs to bring somebody in to look after his mother, whether she wants it or not. Right? And he needs, you know, I gather she probably needs almost 24 hours a day care. Okay, let me redo the time here. So I'm going to call it now. Nana, it's okay. You needed to let this out. I'm so glad you cried, honey, because that'll stop you, really getting upset about it. And well done for being able to let the emotion out. Yeah, and you understand the fact that you're so upset by this means you need to put a boundary down. Hey, let me ask you something. If he'd come to you and said, I'd like you to just check on her for me every day, and I'm willing to pay you for that time, would you have felt differently? You probably would have said, hey, you don't need to pay me. This is the peculiar thing. It's that he didn't come to you first that really upset you. Makes sense. Okay, so we're going to call this. I know you wouldn't have done. I know you, Nana. You would have said, no, you don't need to pay me. You can't have it both ways. You would have done it anyway. Oh, Nana, I love you to bits. I really do. Yes, and Beth saying that when she tried to talk to her husband about how her mother was, his mother was sucking her dry, it then put him in a position between his mom and her. That's never a good thing to be there. But Beth, you obviously made it out the other side. All right, so we're going to do another time check here, which is 42 minutes. Jody. All right, we're going to get on to the story that I wanted to discuss. For those of you who have not seen the lunchtime broadcast, we were doing a case study, which was very interesting. And what I want you to do is do another one and do it the same way. I'm going to do a number of these so that you can practice doing this. So I need one team of people who can keep the negative side going and take notes on the negative things you hear. And I need another team of people who can see the positive in everything. All right. And Jody goes on the positive side. Nana, I think you probably would as well. But what I want you to do is I need to have balance. So Beth, are you going to volunteer for the negative side for me? Because you're pretty good about sussing these things out. The reason I want both sides is because it will help us get balance, all right? Because we want to make sure that both sides of the story are being heard. All right, so I'm going to tell a very quick story, but what I'd like you to do is to see where this would trigger Erin. And for those of you who are listening, you need to know that Erin has been in hospital or under care since January, right, Erin? And because of that, no, Erin, don't you dare start beating up on yourself already. We'll give you plenty of times to beat up on yourself. Don't start right at the beginning. So anyway, so Erin has been in hospital, or is it hospital, or are you in a January the 31st? That's right. So you understand that's 7 months of being out of her home. And when she is at home, she is in a home of people that need some level of care anyway. So I want the people who are listening to this story on the replay to make sure they understand this situation. Erin, how much of your body do you have control over, would you say? I just want to make sure people get the right picture of you before they hear the story, because it's easy to make judgments if you don't hear stories. And while I'm waiting for Erin to give me that information, she has really, you have the use of one hand and your brain. I know you have use of your brain and your smile. But basically, you have one hand that's functioning properly. Your legs are not functioning properly. Your other arm isn't functioning properly. Is that right? I just want to make sure we get the right picture here. And by the way, on a good day, Erin is one of the greatest people you could meet in terms of personality. She's just unbelievably adorable. So I want to make sure everybody understands that what you're about to hear is really important to Erin, and um, it makes an impact. So for those of you who are looking at the good and bad, understand, see the good and bad of somebody that is prepared to talk about their stuff with the use of just one hand. Yeah, Erin is saying, yes, you know this. You saw it in person live and in color. And the color, everybody, is pink. Everything is pink. Okay, so I don't think I've ever been in a room where there was so much pink. And it was like, that's why she's laughing about the fact that I saw it in living color. Yeah. And, the interesting thing was when I met Erin, and I did, my first reaction, and it's funny, isn't it? My first reaction was to lie down on the bed next to her. Can any of you understand why? Yeah, to me, I could, to me, it's like you must have the use of your neck, Erin, because I remember you looking at me at that angle, and my automatic reaction was, I need to be at a lower level so that you don't have to strain your neck. And I hate to say this, Erin, don't run with it the wrong way, but it was like talking to a puppy, right? It was like, whenever I need to have a serious conversation with a puppy, I will get down on the floor and talk at puppy level, not at giant level. So yeah, that. Anyway, so everybody's got this picture of Erin now, all right? Great sense of humor, unbelievable courage, and chose to leave her father's house and go live in a community, and left her father to live the rest of his life without her in the house. Now, you got to think about that. She said she did it for her freedom, but, I think she also did it for her daddy. Right, Erin? Well, great love. Great love. Anyway, so here we go. Erin, when she was in the facility before she had to get extra care, got to be really friendly with one of the care people, and that care person ended up leaving. But before she left, or after she left, I'm not quite sure which, she and Erin were busy talking, and she was saying that she wanted to go away and live in another state, but that what she wanted to do was to open up a care facility for people like Erin, and that Erin, am I correct in this? And she wanted you to be part of it. In other words, that you would have part ownership of the house. Is this correct? Now, you all understand that for Erin to reply to this, she is either busy typing with one hand, or she is busy talking to her machine that will type it for her. This is not easy stuff for Erin, believe me. Oh, just while I'm waiting for her to answer. I've started flavoring my water with raspberry and cranberry. Two things. Number one, it gives it a really nice taste. But secondly, it's good for your kidneys and things. So, okay, so Erin's saying, yes, ma'am. She wants me to go and help her with the company and the house. So you see, even though Erin has all these things going against her, do you understand that Erin's got a brain that works like a steel trap? Oh, I meant to mention that, Beth. Yes. I also have lemon in there, lemon juice. Anyway, so she's got a mind that works like a steel trap. You know, there's nothing wrong with her mind, I can tell you, or her attitude. So I want to make sure you understand this. So let's go back into the story. So the friend moves away and goes to the other state. Can you see that's a layer to start with for Erin? Her friend has now left. So Erin is already in another facility. She doesn't think she will necessarily be able to get back into the original one, but even if she did, the person she likes so much is already gone. So for those of you looking at the negative, you can add, loneliness to your list of things that you're hearing, all right? Not abandonment, but loneliness, all right? Because her friend is gone. However, it's Erin, so she's coping with it, and she's trying to keep upbeat about it. Now, listen what happened. And this is the part of the story that I thought you'd all like to hear, because this is where, when you start really looking at your stuff, it's interesting how these things, are important. Erin said that when the friend got to the other state, she took on a job and it had nothing to do with the house. Now, for those of you looking at the negative, if you were busy being Erin and waiting for your friend to start up this house so you could go and be there with her and help run it with her, and she took a job doing something completely different, what would your feelings be? And Jody and Nana, can you look at the positive of that? In other words, the friend has gone to a new state and she needs to be able to find the money and everything else to buy the house. So have a look at the reasons why she might have done that are positive. So Erin, okay, so Sharon, what went through your mind, Sharon? You see, that's why I want to do this. Some people looking at it from one side, some people looking at the other. Okay, so Erin's now telling me the update of the story, which is actually, it does have something to do with the house, I guess. She's one-on-one caregiving during the day, and I think for a disabled person, yes. Yes, Jody's saying on the plus side, I'm glad that she found employment to sustain herself in the interim. Yes, and that's how I heard it as well. All right, now Beth's putting in the negatives. Loss of relationships, realizing she can't control what other people do, even though it might have been the best choice for her friend. Good work, people, you're seeing this. Right. Sharon's saying, if you want to start a business with me, you need to start some groundwork. Yes. So this takes time, right? And by the way, how many of you, big round of applause for Erin that she gave me permission to talk about this. But can you all see why Erin might have had a negative reaction to the fact she went and got a job? I want to make sure that you have compassion here. Can you see, the same as Nana's story, right? Can you understand why Erin was upset at some level? Yeah, I quite agree. Big round of applause to Erin. Erin is one of the most honest people I know. She's a lot like me. She's pretty intense and she tells you what she thinks. Not everybody can handle that. Hey, Erin. Believe me, I know. Yes, Sharon. And Jody's saying, right, 100%, Jody says, a potential betrayal. Is that how it felt, Erin? Did you feel a little bit betrayed? And for somebody who's working on the good side, Jody is the ultimate in compassion. And look at Sharon. Sharon says, yes, but the person needs to support herself. Well, we don't know that, Beth, right? We don't know that for sure. That's why I'm checking. Always remember, seek first to understand, right? So that's why I'm asking the question. All right, Beth, it's not that you're wrong. I just want to make sure it is what she felt. Beth said, yes, she was upset that she was put on the back burner, like she wasn't important enough. Yeah, that's the same thing that I felt when I was with the realtor. So yeah, but I wanted to just check it out first to make sure that is what she thought, Beth. Makes sense? It's what we would feel, but is it what Erin felt? That's what I wanted to check. All right, so Erin said, yes, I didn't think she would do that. Yeah, she didn't act the way your little Disneyland picture was running, all right? But who's to say she wouldn't be one of those people who would say she's going to do something and then not do it? Oh, so then this was abandonment. You thought this might be total abandonment, not just a delay. Because that wouldn't be the first time in your life as well. So can you see that Erin's got lots of layers of stuff going on here, all right? And that this one action of her friend would have burst her balloon of her dream at some level. Am I correct in that, Erin? I want to make sure I'm not putting words in your mouth. That when the friend went and did that, her little magical balloon of, oh, I'm so happy, I'm going to be going and moving and I'm going to go and help. And but looking on the negative side, maybe she had no intention of doing it. Ah, and Jodi's saying that as well. I wonder if it's possible that a friend had all the greatest intentions, but perhaps became triggered in some way after the move. Fear, overwhelm, whatever. Hi, Carrie. Sometimes people tell lies to save the hard goodbye. Wow. Now, Erin, I know you well enough that you've processed all of these things, right? None of these are new things in your mind. Yeah, Erin's saying, yes, it did burst my bubble a little. But I know I wasn't realistic either. She needs a job, so it's a good thing. Because she needs money and security there to be able to start the house. Yay. You see, Erin, I know you well enough to know that you will have processed this. So do you guys all see this, that when you've got something that hits you at an emotional level, whether it's Jonas's thing or my story or Erin's, being able to see both sides of the picture takes you out of Disneyland and puts you into reality. Okay? So Erin, that's not easy, but it doesn't mean that she's not going to do what she said. All right? Have you spoken to her about this? I'm glad, Carrie. So I'm trying to find out if Erin has spoken to her friend about this, or whether she's just trying to deal with this all on her own. So can you imagine that at some level, Erin had hope of a different life, and that somebody was actually going to use her brain? You know, she's got a brain and it functions, and that somebody who didn't see her as as somebody who didn't have value. All right. She saw Erin's value. All right. Okay. So Erin says, we have talked and I'm much better now. We talk every day. All right. So she knows how you felt, right? You made sure that you let her know that. And the same as Nana was saying earlier, what would you have liked her to have done? Which is to maybe write to you first and say, hey, just to warn you, I'm going to need to take a job for a year or something just so that I can save up the deposit. Or, what is it you would have liked her to have done? Right. Now listen to Sharon. Sharon saying, I would not trust this person, friend or not. When money is involved, I don't trust. I have been burned too many times. Well, that's a sad thing, Sharon, because if you don't trust people anymore, then you will be right? You'll have nobody to trust. And I understand what you're saying. I think there's a difference between trusting people unconditionally and being selective about who you trust and why. I can tell you that this friend that Erin's talking about has been a friend to Erin for some time, and I believe Erin has every reason to trust her word. That's just my view. However, I also saw the point that maybe when she got there, the dream was more difficult to achieve than she had originally thought. Maybe she got a bit of reality coming in there. And I'm sure Erin has spoken about this already. The reason I wanted to tell the story and to have you guys work with it is, can you see why Erin was perfectly natural for her to feel that betrayal or that abandonment in that moment? Yeah, Sharon, that's right. Sharon, I've got something going on at the moment where I am not sure how to financially protect myself. And I could go to an attorney, but something, I think I may just also have to just take the risk. Right? And because sometimes we do just have to take the risk, in my view. But it's what I call a calculated risk, all right? You see, if you don't see the possibilities, then that's not a calculated risk. But if you've seen all the possibilities and you still decide to go ahead and take the risk, then then that's okay. Yeah. So Sharon, I would just tell you that be careful. All right. It's like people who've been burnt in love. If you say, I'm never going to love again because, you just get hurt in love, which, I have said, then, you close yourself off to a lot of people. Yes, Beth. Thank you. Beth is saying everybody would have the same emotion about it, disabled or not. She went through it brilliantly, talking through it and not jumping to conclusions till she found out the why. Yes, Beth. Now, I'm pretty sure she probably did jump to a few conclusions, knowing Erin. Erin's like me. She's a little intense, right? So, her passionate side probably did take her down the negative path pretty heavily before she got a grip and then came back and saw both sides of the story. I know the person. Erin is not somebody you want to make an enemy of. It's a bit like Kerry. This Kerry with Mike. All right. It's like the little scorpion people. when they get triggered, they react. So, and I love them both. But yes, I think this is the whole thing. What happens? The reason I wanted to talk about this layering is, can you see how many layers poor Erin has to go through, that most people don't even start with, right? She's got all these layers before she ever starts anything. And now she had a dream that was on top of this, and boom, somebody put a pin in her balloon. Oh, Kerry, I know that you are a true Scorpio. Yeah, that's right. I've seen it. But the other thing, you know what I love about you, Carrie? You know how to run away too, and not see it as a negative. Just let me get out of this before I react. Very interesting to watch you do that. Okay, Sharon, but thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of the discussion. So how many of you can relate to this in something that's going on in your life, where we react when, and that's okay, but then the next thing to do is, wait a minute, before I overreact, let me just check into this. And, seek first to understand. So when I wrote to my realtor, do you understand? Erin saying to me, stop acting like you know me so well, miss. I did jump to something, some conclusions, very emotional ones. It's true. I'm Aquarius, right? Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Erin. You know something, sweetie? I've known the good and bad of you for nearly 6 years, and I've got a fair handle on you, I think. Yes, Beth. Yes. Beth saying, I have to admit, I seek to withdraw before I seek to understand. How many of you relate to what Beth is saying? If somebody hurts you, you want to withdraw rather than seek first to understand. That is so honest of you, Beth. You do such great work, Beth. I mean, it's that level of honesty that will help you really change your life a lot. Now, I want to tell a second story if we're sort of clear on the first one. And I wanted Beth here because it has to do with gaming. How many of you have ever played an online game? With other participants. And I want to give you some background of my experience because it's important to the story. About 10 years ago, I did play an online game, and I did extremely well at it. I was probably the only person of my age playing it, but I didn't tell them my age, so that was okay. But because of my management experience and because of my personality, all right, I got on really well, and before I knew it, I was leader of it was a pirate game, and I was leader of a whole flotilla of boats and everything else. And you can probably imagine it, right? And I was busy training people left, right, and center because that's what I do. And I had this incredible group of people, and I was queen, no problem at all. But, I started to find out that being queen was extremely hard work, and I got really fed up with it. So what I did is I intentionally gave away most of my ships and went back to just enjoying the game. How many of you can see me doing that? Like, I don't need this power. I've got power in my own life. I don't need to do this for power. I can let it go. So I just want you to know that's my background. And I did eventually just unplug myself from the game and get on with my real life. Right? So you've all got that bit of background. So about a month ago, not even that, I don't think, I started playing one of these big online games, and it was a war type one, medieval war. And so for any of you who've played them, same sort of thing. You come in at a very low level, and then, while you're learning the game. But, I am a lot like Beth. When I do something, I want to do it well. So I spent a lot of time playing this game, and I became very sought after very quickly, and I got promoted very quickly and all those sort of things. And I was in a small group of people, but we actually interacted really well, and we acted like a team, and it was great. And then this team decided to join another team, an alliance, if you like. And now we got a new leader who, by the way, is totally different personality. And now the promises they made to us before we moved over, they were kept, except in my case. They didn't give me the promotion that they were meant to. And that's just, I just went, okay, fine. You can't keep me down. They'll have to promote me anyway. But anyway, so that was that was a bit of a hit. And then somebody got really upset with me in the first day that I was there. So that was an emotional hit as well. And I'm going, they totally overreacted to something that I had done. But, I went, fair enough, let me try and mend that bridge. And I worked fairly hard to mend that. And they kept saying, stop trying to be my friend. You will never be my friend. And I went, okay, fine. And I just wrote back and said, hey, just remember that I will continue to treat you as a friend because I get to control my behavior. And if you choose not to have me as one, that's your choice. And so I never punished them. Whenever they needed help, I sent resources and helped wherever I could. So, okay. So then I get promoted again and everything's fine. And then what happened was they gave me a region. Beth, I'm now at that level, right, where I'm responsible for a whole region. And, you can imagine I worked really hard to make sure that everything was going right in my region. And in fact, it went very right in my region, and that was great. But I put a lot of time and effort into it. Let's put it that way. So, and you play the game, and you sort of build up walls of your region, and you build, bring in resources, and you train the troops, and da 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 da. So it all takes time and effort and money, quite honestly. So I did all of that, and then what I started to notice was that the leader would say things one day and then totally change it the next. How many of you know that is not a good thing with me? So I need the people who can see the bad of that and the people who can see the good. All right. So when you're working with somebody and they don't stay solid on their decision making, what does that do on a negative side? Okay, it's not good for Kerry either, right? So you understand, if you as a leader tell me 1 and 1 makes 2, I will train all my people to know that 1 and 1 makes 2 in this alliance, right? In this group of people, doesn't matter what you were doing elsewhere, this is what it means here. So I would train all my people. It totally confused me. Yes, you're right, Jody. It does confuse you. But, I let it go. But being who I am, I said, are you aware that you changed this? You gave me one instruction one day and totally changed it the next. Are you aware of that? And Erin, who's known me for a long time, says, oh, with you, that's bad. That's really, really bad. That's like asking a bomb to explode. Listen up, Missy. What makes you think you know me that well? But I kept it under control, Erin. I wrote to him and, I sought first to understand, did he understand what he'd just done? And then Erin's going to love this one. Then, Erin, I woke up one day and I turned on the game and I had been demoted. Without discussion and without reason, I had just been demoted. How many of you can now hear the fuse on the bomb? And Erin's going, oh no, and he's still alive. Yeah, just, okay. So being who I am, Erin, I wrote to him and said, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, WTF, what on earth is going on? What did I do that I suddenly got demoted? All right. And he wrote back and said, don't take it personally. I've got too many officers, so I needed to get rid of them all. I said, you did that without discussing it with any of your officers. You just demoted them. I said, yeah, I didn't say, how old are you, buddy? Because this is not the way you treat people. But, that's what I was thinking. All right. So I did say to him, it'd be a nice idea next time to actually warn somebody that this was about to happen. Do you agree, everybody? Even if it's a game, it's like, just want to warn you, you're going to find yourself demoted temporarily tomorrow because I need to just reorganize the whole group. But you will be reinstated. No, I didn't get that. I just woke up and I was demoted. And Erin knows that look. Right? So now I'm not recovering quite as fast. Yeah, Erin, it helps to pay your cable and internet bill, right? Anyway, so I didn't recover quite as fast. Can you imagine this? Because I've got a second layer going on here. Yeah, Beth says I was in a group like that. So instead of dealing with them, I withdrew from them and left them and made my own guild of people. Now my guild is more successful than they are. Yeah, exactly. But, because I was with a group of people that I'd come over with and I had always supported them, it was very important. So, yeah, I agree, Beth. Being a respectful person to everybody is very important in my life. All right, so here's the thing. So then I keep sucking it up and trying, and letting him know when I'm upset, but I'm trying not to overreact to it. That look scares you to this day, right, Erin? So, Erin, imagine this one, honey. I woke up the day before yesterday, or it might have been yesterday. And this region that I had spent so many hours and real money building, he gave it away. I woke up and I turned on my computer and my region was no longer under my command. He had given it away. No warning. And I went Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. What on earth is going on? And so, seeking first to understand, I wrote to the senior officer that happened to be online at the time and said, do you know about this? They've given away my region. Oh, don't take it personally. How many of you hate those words? So where am I going to hide the body? Right in the freezer, Erin. So this was like, don't take it personally. How many of you hate that? What do you mean, don't take it personally, is what I said. I have spent hours of time and my personal money to build that region, and you gave it away without so much as discussing it with me? They didn't say, we're going to give away your region because strategically we need to let go of this to build, because we need the money and all the resources in there to do this. No. They just let me wake up one morning and my region was gone. All that money, all that time, useless. So not only did I lose my region, I lost the fact that I was a governor of a region, right? So how many of you know this? As Erin says, where did you hide the body, right? Because I'm pretty intense, remember that. So again, and this woman who's started to take power, you know what I mean? She was sort of suddenly the second in command, and she's going, "No, don't worry about it. Don't take it personally. This is just a game." And I said, "I will take it personally. This is not how you treat people. This is not how you treat people. And if you are too young to understand that." No, but it's just the game. I've played games like this before and you just have to let it go and move on. I'm going, no, I don't have to at all. Now, Beth, the reason I wanted you on here is because what I realized was that this game was not good for me. What I realized was I could go into a revenge mode. And Beth, I totally understand what you did, which is let me now start my own group and beat the living daylights out of them. I totally understand that. And you did it. But I suddenly thought, I don't want to play a game that does this to people. How many of you can see that in me? This is not bringing out the best in me at all. I play a game to relax. I don't play a game um, to hurt people. And so what I did was I said, I'm going to disconnect for about 12 hours while I think this through. And I just need to warn, just give you a heads up, I may leave the game. Now, my buddies are all writing to me and saying, please don't leave the game. You're so good at it, and there. And I said, no, I understand that. I said, but oh, and then there was another level. Sorry, he gave a direction on the day before, and he said it in front of people. It wasn't just to me. He said it in a group setting, and then the next day he point blank told somebody that it wasn't true. He hadn't said it. Erin, being called a liar isn't high on my list of things either. And so I went away for 12 hours, and then I came back and I turned the game back on again. And what do I see? I see this second in command who's got the power now, busy basically telling me that I overreacted and da-da-da-da-da. And I went, no, I didn't. I just reacted to something that was totally unnecessary. And so what I did was I divested myself of all my resources, and I handed all my resources off to all the people that have been kind to me during the game. And when I had done that, I wrote a few emails, because I have a way of doing that within the game, to the people I liked and said, hey, really enjoyed playing the game with you. I'm out of here. This doesn't work for me. And I haven't played the game since. So what I want you to see, Erin, is that the first thing I coped with. The second thing I coped with, but not quite as well. The third thing, I was really angry. And by the time the fourth thing came, it was like, I can't do this. And then the other thing was, Erin, I don't know if any of you relate to this one, but one of the people said, shush, 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 we are a team. We don't have to get upset. And I'm going, oh, yes, I do. I do need to get upset, because this is not the way to treat people. And what I said was, I don't do this to people in real life. Why would I do it in a game? And then I started to think, Beth, the reason I disconnected from it was it wasn't bringing out the best in me. Do you understand? And then I thought to myself, wow, how many young people are playing games and people are teaching them it's just a game, you can do what you like to people, they're not important. And if they can't handle it, we can live without them, no problem. And I'm thinking, wow. Yeah, so Beth is saying, I met a lot of people that I didn't agree with. But for me, I started this game 12 years ago with my husband, and I won't let anyone suck the enjoyment out of why I started this game. Yes. Yeah, so what you did is you took control. And by the way, Beth, that's what I say to people when I used to teach people about entrepreneurs. I used to say to people, the reason that people become entrepreneurs is because their boss really messed with their mind. And they decided, hey, I can do this better. And they went and started their own company. And you see, you did the same thing, Beth. All right. And Beth, I had people writing to me and saying, you're the hardest working person on the team. Please don't go. And I'm going, oh, now you notice that. Because I wasn't the glory person, as you can probably imagine, Beth. I wasn't out there being the leader. What I was doing was when they went into battle and everybody had lost all their troops and their resources, I was the squirrel. I was out there getting resources and getting everything so that when that happened, I could feed those resources in. Can any of you imagine me doing that? All right. So what I'm doing is not taking the glory on the front side. I'm leading from behind. I know that when they go into the next battle, they're going to lose troops. They're going to lose resources. They're going to need this, 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 and this. So while they're all busy playing the fun bit of it, I have been in the background getting all the resources ready for them. So what they do is they learn pretty quickly, that's what I did. And like Nana, they knew they could lose a lot of troops and a lot of resources because Sal would have it, right? They learned that pretty quickly because I taught them that. So yeah. So and I was happy with that, Nana. That's what I do. Like you, and that's what I do. And I didn't resent it. It was like, okay, that's what I do. And, a new person would come on and I'd send them resources quietly without anybody knowing, because that's who I am. So Beth, I think these games really show you who you are as a person, right? And to me, it was like when I realized how frustrating this was for me, it was like, I can't play this anymore. I got enough frustration in my real life. I don't need to get this angry every day over a game. And the reason I'm getting angry is because I'm dealing with an idiot, in my view. And to tell me I mustn't get upset when they do stupid things is like red rag to a bull. It's like, excuse me, when you act like an idiot, I'm going to react. So, get over it. Now, I think all of you know I can be the greatest person on your team if you want me to be, but boy, oh boy, I can also be the scorpion when I get upset. But I didn't need to punish everybody. Do you understand that? I just said, okay, fine, this is not for me anymore. I need to find a different game. And I literally divested myself and handed all my stuff over as best I could and walked away. And wrote to the people I cared about, said, thank you so much. I really enjoyed your friendship. Right? And poof, gone. I uninstalled the game. Yes, Beth, you're right. So that's what everyone in my guild is respectful. I only allow adults and clearly state the rules that they are to be respectful or get the boot out of my guild. Yes. And so I was busy trying to teach them management and they didn't get it. That's okay. I'll find another game that wants me. But the other thing I thought, Beth, if I took the hours that I played the game and did it into downsizing, I'd probably get finished. That's the other side. I definitely took it on as a distraction away from what I didn't want to do. And I can see that. But can you, again, see the layers? Sounds like a bunch of young people to me as well. Yeah, go away. Using two other words. Yeah, I totally agree, Nana. So, to me, this is like, does that make me a bad team player? No, I'm one of the best team players you can ever imagine. But you need to treat me with some value. Nana is one of the kindest, most generous person, as is Rick. But don't take it for granted, right? This isn't not who people are. The lesson in today, I think, from all of these is that if we can understand that we've got this whole thing about some people will always do the right thing. You always do the best you can, Nana. I don't care how much you try and BS us. You're never going to stop doing it either. That's what makes me laugh. I'm going, does she really think she's going to stop doing this? Not the Nana I've met. So the interesting thing is you need to get really real with that one, Nana, and go, I understand that you're resentful and you have every right to be, but you can't. It's who you are. You know, I it's like saying, Sal, you can't broadcast anymore, or you can't help people anymore. Just unplug. You can't do that anymore. How many of you know that this is my what I do, right? You know something, Nana? Thank you for tonight, right? This wasn't an easy thing to discuss for you. And you had every reason to be upset, but I hope that you can see this is a self-inflicted wound. And how many times do you do this to yourself, Nana? You actually you actually believe that you're going to change at some level. And you're not. It's who you are. You're a kind, generous, thoughtful person, and always will be. And when we are kind, generous, thoughtful people, we're going to get stomped on every now and then. But it's not going to stop you because it's who you are. You do know better. So you had a little human moment, Nana. Get over it. And I say that with all the love and all the hugs that I can possibly give you. Yeah, Carrie gets stomped on a lot because she is who she is. Yeah, Beth is saying when we get stomped on, we get a little stronger. All right. And so I was reading that somewhere, Beth, and it says when anybody breaks your heart, do you see that actually when it breaks, it makes the heart a little bigger? Can you see the visual of that? Because the heart is like this, and if you break it, it spreads. And therefore your heart is a little bigger. So I can never do that right. No, it's not right. I know you guys can do this, and I never get it right. Oh, like that. That's right. My nails get in the way. So, Nana, thank you for telling the story, because that's how, how many of you find that when we get to do these case studies where we're talking about these things that happen, it actually helps you understand what you're doing? So I have nothing but thanks for all the people who write to me and add, by the way, you can tell this story. And you can use my name. Because to me, yes, and Beth is saying the person stomping loses a little piece of the self with every stomp. They just don't know it yet. But, they will eventually. And Erin and I will tell you it's called karma. The other thing, if somebody keeps stomping on you in the same place, you begin to get calluses, right? So, you build up an immune system to people stomping on you eventually. And to me, it's like, if you're stomping on me because you want me to change, understand this is who I am. And I'm sorry you don't like it. But it is who I am. And do you remember I quoted that song last week? I am who I am, right? Yeah, Erin says, yeah, and karma, she's not a very forgiving person. And sometimes I'm so glad for that. How many of you can hear her saying that? Yes, exactly. Beth's saying it's like somebody who constantly lies. One too many lie, and the trust is gone. Yeah. Or somebody that you have told, please don't cross this boundary because it's a real trigger for me when you cross it, and they constantly cross it. You can, it's like an enemy. You can put up the battlements for quite a while, and after a while, you just let the army out. Yeah. So to me, what I wanted you to see is, can you clearly see that these stories that I've been telling, any one thing wouldn't have been an issue. It was because there were layers to it. Yeah, Kerry's saying, wow, I've been on the receiving end of karma. It's unpleasant, but I'm not as petty as I used to be. Yeah. And Beth is saying you can only take so much. Yeah. And that's okay. And that's called set your boundary. Let people know, I know you think you can walk all over me, but here's the reality. You just stepped one step too far. And, and then the guilt trip, right? Oh, you're just overreacting to this. No, I'm not. No, I'm not overreacting. And I wanted to say, Beth, if you understand this, how would you have felt if they took away your region last night without telling you? The reason that you can just say it's only a game is they didn't take your region. Yes, Kerry, this is so true. Now, Kerry's saying, I've got better control of my inner, her inner child, right? And so I'm a little stronger than I used to be. Absolutely. Zoo. It's okay. Glad that you're here, Zoo. And Zoo Lee, is it? Did I get the name right? We will find out. Yes. Okay, good. Two brain cells are going in the right direction today. Lee, welcome. This has been quite an intense. I just want to warn you, Lee, if you haven't watched the one that we did at lunchtime, these are two parallel broadcasts, right? The one we started at lunchtime talked about the layering of emotions, and this one tonight took it to another level. Yes, Kerry, you are still in control of your boundaries, and the person I set them with is starting to realize they can't cross them anymore. Thank goodness. And that is because you were consistent. All right? You were consistent, Kerry. You didn't say, don't do this to me, and then let them do it. You said, I warned you not to do this to me, and now I need to take a break. And then they tried to suck you back in with all sorts of stuff. You remember you went through all that difficult stuff, Kerry, when they tried to make you the guilty person, and you stood your ground. I was so proud of you, because that is how you teach people, don't do this to me. This is what happens. All right? And I'm certain a lot of you know that I'm, if you're my friend, I will do almost anything I know humanly possible to be a good friend. But if you betray me, or if you abandon me, or whatever, I'm not a very good friend anymore. It's just like, I will see your side of it, but I will also see that you made a choice. And my thing is, if you know what my triggers are and you intentionally walk across those landmines, then you're going to get the look that Erin knows, and the bomb is going to explode. It's not that I will get rid of you as a friend, no, but don't be surprised if the bomb explodes when you step on that landmine. And Erin, you've known me for a long time. I've had people who have been really nasty to me here on lots of reasons, and that's a right. But I think a lot of you know that if they ever needed help, I'd still go out of my way to help them. Yes, Kerry, right? That person still tries to suck you in. But, the guilt isn't working, right? Yeah. And so, Erin, you see, and that's what you have to give yourself a huge, well, you don't have to, but you may choose to give yourself a huge pat on the back, Kerry, because you now know what that, all right? You can now see the words, and this is just, I'm being fed a guilt trip so that this person can get what they need. And I'm not going there. You see, that's That's adult thinking. How many of you... Yeah, so Kerry says, I try to be a good friend, but if you cross the line after I warn you, I am no longer Mr. Nice Guy. Yeah. Now, what if they apologize? And what if they say, I've learned the lesson? Do you cut them off for good, or do you give them a second chance? That's cute, Beth. Beth says, for those of you listening on the replay, Beth just said, LOL. I always hear Mama Sal's sucking noise in my head when I see my sister, and I giggle to myself. Yeah. But you know, Beth, isn't it funny? Once you can see it, you're going, you think that's going to work, don't you? I know better now. Yeah, Erin, and you know, it's really important. It puts you in a good mood after that. Yes, I've actually said to people, I hear you trying to manipulate me. No, I'm not. Oh, yes, you are. And unfortunately, you picked the wrong person, because I can actually hear this. Yes, Kerry's saying, if they apologize and I try to forgive them, but the trust isn't the same. So here is the thing. If you really are a friend, then will you allow the trust to rebuild? How many of you have done that? This is not about being right or wrong. How many of you have had trust broken, but you left the door open to be a friend again? I can think of many times when I've done that. And, you know, then if they break that trust again, then this is like, okay, fine. This is not a safe person for me to work with. So I just wanted to tell you a story about Sakura. She hasn't come in today, but I do want to tell you that she's been handling some really tough stuff. Yeah. So Kerry's saying, I'd still be your friend, but it would be difficult for me to trust you again. Yeah. That, you know, you're a lot more cautious, right, than you were before. So Sakura has had a really tough week, and I'm sorry she's not here. Actually, I should wait until she gets here, or I'll write to her and ask to tell her story, because I really had to spend a bit of time calming her down this week, because something happened and she had every reason to be upset, quite honestly. And so, you know, the thing that I want to get over here. Ah, good, Erin. All right. I'm glad you came back on that one. Erin's saying, can I just say something about my friend? Somebody said that they wouldn't trust this person, but I do with all my heart. This is one of the first times they have ever been given an opportunity like this. Yeah. And she doesn't see my disability. Now, she sees you as a person, Erin. Yeah, and you want that opportunity. You want to believe the best in her. I totally understand that. And at the moment, she hasn't given you any reason not to trust her. What happened, Erin, was in your mind. Can you see that? She did something that I think would be quite normal for somebody arriving in a new state. She went and got a job. So what you did with that information... Yes, so Erin's saying right, and very few people have ever given me chances like that. So I have to believe that it's my future and my security for the future. Erin is Erin, Kerry says. Disability is secondary in my mind. Funny enough, it's really interesting, and I'm so grateful that I got to meet her in person because, I knew a lot about Erin before I went to go and meet her in person. But when I met her in person, that is an image that is indelibly forged in my mind. And I want to tell you, I had more respect for her, and I had more compassion for her, and I had more understanding for her than I had just hearing her story. When I actually saw, when I actually saw what she copes with on a daily basis, and I'm going, boy, if that were me, I would not be having the attitude that Erin does. Yeah, I mean, that there is no doubt about it. So I gained a whole new level of respect for her when I met her. And for her incredibly loving father as well. Yes, that's what you miss, not seeing everyone. Now, Nana, I have seriously considered doing it on Hangouts, which is also part of Google or YouTube. So I'm on Google Live now. Oh, YouTube Live, which is the same thing. But you could do it on Google Hangouts so that people could see each other. Yes, it's interesting. Erin says, yes, Julia and Alice were the very first people ever to automatically just lie on my bed with me. The very first people do. Now, it means another learning process, everybody. And I know that can be frustrating for people. So if I were to do one broadcast a week that was a hangout where you could see everybody that wanted to be seen, which broadcast would you choose? It also means that if I do this, that enough people need to be prepared to come up on camera, because otherwise, why do it? The one thing I did find distracting, and I want to say this, is that, I found it really distracting when people came up on camera and spent the whole time on their cell phone when they obviously were not concentrating on what was going on. And to me, I found that very frustrating. This is like, if you're going to be at the broadcast, can you please concentrate on the broadcast? Because I think it's rude to other people if you are busy doing, yeah. So that is my reality, or at least go off camera, right? So that's what I'm going to say, that if you come onto the broadcast and come on, if you come on to camera and you're starting to, obviously talk to your friends and do whatever, I'm just going to take you off camera. Is that fair? Because that's not why we're here. We're here to help one another. I don't mind that you multitask, but just don't do it on camera. Does that make sense? Do I multitask? Do I multitask when I'm talking with you? How many of you have heard the phone go while I'm broadcasting? How often do I answer it? Can you ask why I don't do vlogs anymore? Yes, I found that my life changed when I retired. I really didn't think my life was interesting enough, quite honestly, Nana. You miss them, yeah. So if you've got the time to edit them, I did I did a vlog on the egglets thing, and I know that you guys would want to see how those work. So, I really could do with a bit of support on getting that one done. Yes, Erin, and that's what I wanted to say, is that if you want to be on camera, then be in the present. All right? And that is be on camera. But if you want to be on camera to be seen while you ignore what's going on, I find that incredibly rude. And that's why I stopped having people on camera. So, deal? The question is, which broadcast? What about the Sunday one? Do you think that would be a nice one to do it when we start the week and do our soul work? No idea. Okay. So now here's the thing. If we do one, let's say the Sunday one, and everybody enjoys it, and you'd like to do, I think here's my problem. I think that if you come up on camera, you're going to, yes, can you re-watch it or not? I don't know. We'd have to try that, Beth, to find out. The other thing is, I can't edit you out. Do you understand? So if you want to be in that broadcast and on camera, you are also telling me that you agree to be, have your picture go around the world. You can't have it both ways. Yeah, exactly, Beth, right? And that's why I didn't do it very much. But I don't mind doing the occasional. And by the way, you can. Yeah, I think let's try it. The thing is this, that you can choose to be in the broadcast but not on camera. I do know that. So if you just want to, you can even be on voice and not have a camera. In other words, you can talk to us, but we just can't see you. So for some of you, that would work well. For others, yes, that's what I found as well, Beth. I found that people talk far more freely in the anonymity of this. It's a big word for me. Okay, Nana, sleep well, honey. So, and thank you for your help. So we will give it a try. I think what I'm going to do is give everybody a heads up on Sunday that we're going to start it the following week, all right? Maybe we start it in September, for example. Or we'll just give everybody a fair notice. I think they need at least a week's notice. That I would like a week's notice, so I'm presuming that other people would as well. And then we will do it as a special and see how it goes. And, it'll take a bit of a while for people to get used to it again. So I don't mind doing that at all. Now, if I find that we do it and I'm still the only one up on camera, then we will have found something else up, right? So it's interesting. How many of you miss the vlogs as a matter of interest? And what do you miss? Because Nana is the first person to tell me that she misses the vlogs, I think. You miss the word of the day. I could do those, even if they're not fun ones. I think I could easily, I could easily, have what I call a camera moment where I do it. And yeah, Beth says, I only watched on Vaughan a long time ago, but I wasn't participating. Yeah, it's amazing to me how many people ghost. Okay. Right. So you want to see my life again? I really didn't think my life was that interesting anymore. Right. Let me tell you what I found out, Lee. A lot of people watch me because of my connection to Benji and Judy. Right. And it was very interesting to me because I wondered if I wasn't doing that, would I still have the viewers? All right. So I intentionally stopped doing a lot of stuff about Benji and Judy and my visits to them and so forth. And what surprises me is that I didn't lose the viewers. That really did surprise me. You wanted to make sure we weren't all crazy people. Well, you know that we are now. Yes, and you heard of me through It's Judy Time. Exactly. So, it's strange, but I needed to make sure that people were watching me for the right reasons, if you know what I mean. I had somebody wake me up in the middle of the night this week, and they keep tagging me on stuff that they do on Facebook, and I've written to them and said, please don't tag me. And she accidentally told me the truth, which is, oh, I tag you because I want to get through to Benji and Judy and you're my way in. And I wrote back and said, no, I'm not. And please untag me or I'm going to report you. And that will be very nasty. You thought I was so sweet, Beth. How wrong could you be? Because you know I'm intense, right? So I was, it's funny that you should say this because I was thinking about the fact that maybe I do need to take the time and start doing a few vlogs. I will give it my best shot. How's that? It was, Jody, you have no idea, Jody, how many people write to me because they think I'm the way into Benji and Judy. And I want to get something to Benji and Judy, so I'll send it to you and you can take it to them. I'm going, no, I'm not going to do that. Or, could you just tell them next time you talk to them, I go, no, if I do it to you, I'd have to do it to millions of people and I'm not going to do that. Yeah, Beth, I used to like doing that and then everybody else copied me and I got upset with it. You can put in a security so they can't tag me? Yeah, so that's the whole thing. All right. So I've done the experiment, guys. I did the experiment. I disconnected that side for I think nearly a year now. And people are still here, so I'm quite happy. Okay, enjoy your soup. And I do need to go because I also have stuff to do. So I will attempt to do at least one vlog a week. How's that? That's my first step. And I will start doing the word of the day because I believe a lot of people used to enjoy that, even if that word is not a polite one. But I also think it might help my mood a bit to do it. So how many of you like the Sal and Hal stuff? I'd like, what I need to know is, what is it that you enjoy? Did you like the fact I was doing different things? Or did you just like the fact that you didn't really mind what I was talking about? I mean, that's what I'm trying to find out. I do know that a lot of people enjoyed the word of the day. And Beth, I will go back to putting the comment because I used to enjoy that too. I thought it very relevant that people made those comments. And I did think it was worthwhile talking about it. I just noticed that even Benji and Judy started to copy it. I got quite upset. You like my gizmos, right? And that's why I think you'd like the egglets. Because it's another gizmo. But it is one that works, funnily enough. But you have to, like everything else in life, if you don't do it right, it doesn't work. But if you do it right, it works like a charm. Oh, Jody. See, it's Jody. Anything you did was fun to watch. I miss it all. What's an egglet? You want to see what it is? Wait. Okay. Lee, it's a little... You're going to love this. It's a little doodad. It's like a piglet. It's an egglet. Now, here's what you do. You crack an egg into it. I'm going to do the video, but I'll tell you quickly. Right? You crack an egg into it, and then you put the lid on it. Not that way, but you put a lid in it, and then you drop it in boiling water. Got the idea? And it makes a perfect hard-boiled egg, and you don't have to take the shell off it. Who doesn't want that? But it has another use. You take your eggs and you mix them up and add stuff to them. Okay? And then you pour it in here. I was thinking, Beth, you would love this for your meal prep. All right? So you can put like scrambled egg mixture in here and drop in cheese. Yeah, Beth, I thought of you. I'm going to do the video so you can see how to do it. But, you drop in cheese and peppers and a bit of bacon or something, and then you put the lid on it and it cooks. And now you have got a scrambled egg. How many of you are going? That's fun. And Beth, I know that you always like to have something that your husband can grab from the fridge. So my kid just loved them. I saw them online and I had to try them. All right, so I give you my commitment that tomorrow, Jody, get on my case, please. No, it's not your job, Jody, but I know you will. Get on my case, because tomorrow I will do that vlog for you. Because it's done. I just have to put it together. I've just got to find it and put it. Funny enough, Amazon actually have been using me as their comment person, because people keep asking questions about them. And ink for it in the videos. I'll put a link for it into Amazon. Yes, I will do. You mean put it so that you can buy them? And they're really cheap. What I thought, it's like so many things. You think, is it worth it? And I'm going, this has paid for itself. When I move and I can only take so much stuff, it'll be perfect for when I live in the RV. You're right. So I only use it once a week. Beth? Right? I use it once a week, make my boiled eggs. I make 2 regular boiled eggs and 2 omelet eggs. And then I put it away for the week. And then I'll bring it out again next time I buy eggs. But it's useful. So my question was, will I take the halogen with me? And I'm saying yes. My slow cooker and my halogen are coming with me. And one of the reasons is that halogen is wonderful for doing, if you're having a barbecue and you want to do extra stuff on the side. So I will definitely take it with me. Good. All right, people, thank you for that. So egglet video coming up, and I'll make sure I've got the links for you. And the other thing is, thank you for those of you who allowed me to tell your story. Erin, thank you so much. You understand that, like anything in life, if you hear that it's happening to somebody else, you realize you're not alone. And I think what's so sad for so many people is they think they're the only ones struggling with these things. And I'm hoping that by doing these broadcasts, that you can see you're not the only one, that everybody struggles with this stuff. And that we just need to understand that and take a step through to the next part of our lives. And by the way, that lesson will keep hitting you until you got it. I keep saying that to people. I have had so many people do funny things this week, and I'm going, I know it's all a lesson. I've just got to keep looking at it and see what I need to change in me. I am attracting this, and I don't want to attract it anymore. So I have to learn. Going to give you all a big hug. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you on Sunday. And if you like, should we do a test on Sunday? Do you want to do that? Is it too soon? Should I give people a week's notice? What do you think? Or, no, that won't work. Maybe we'll do one midweek and test it. And then we can give better information for people when we tell them we're going to do it live. We can tell them how to do it. Jody, I'm pretty sure you'd be willing to help me do a test run on it, right? I'm presuming. Don't want to abuse her. Yeah, let's do that. What we'll do is we'll give everybody a week's notice. And then what I'll do is I'll do a test, and then I'll put up for people, okay, I've done the test, and get you all to do your own test, try and get to it. And just so you can practice, because like anything in life, once you've learned how to do it, it's easy. Okay, the one it's difficult for is actually probably more difficult for me than it is for you guys, because I have to work out how to broadcast, but I think it's pretty similar. All right, so big hugs to you all. Look after one another, but most of all, remember to look after yourself. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. It helps so many other people that you will never know about. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.